there's a lot of chaos. Okay, no worries, no worries. We've got actually today we will be covering a bunch the different certifications that AWS offers as well. So again, even if you don't have that knowledge and you're not so sure right now, again, it would be very much beneficial for you as well in today's session to be able to learn that as well. Again, I guess we are live on our social media platforms as well. So guys, welcome, welcome, welcome again to this brand new session being organized by your favorite cloud learning platform, K21 Academy, where you learn cloud from the experts. Today, I am here to bring you guys a brand new session on something that we are probably doing for the very first time on a live platform. This particular session is more on a practical end. A lot of you guys asked for live demos, practical stuff. So we thought we're gonna answer that demand of yours, and we are bringing this practical session for you guys today. The theory part would be slightly lesser. We would definitely obviously give you a little bit of a theory knowledge just to understand the basics, but the entire session is more focused on the practical end of things. So again, if you are somebody who is new to K21 Academy, welcome. This is going to be really beneficial for you if you are somebody who's trying to explore the amazing domain of cloud, especially the AWS cloud platform. Again, before this session starts, you've got around 3 minutes or so. We had put this in our emails that went out, the social media post that we had, the registration link as well, that you need to have a free AWS, you need to have an AWS account to do the practical implementation as well. So make sure that you have that. If you don't have that and you don't know how to make an AWS account, just go at k21academy.com/AWSSA13. Again, I'll repeat it, k21academy.com/AWSSA13. Somebody from my team, just please put that in the chat window and or the comment section or wherever these people are watching different social media platforms. We are live right now. So you'll get the link. Make sure you go there and learn how to make this free AWS account. Again, it's absolutely for free. You don't have to pay anything, at least yet right now. Again, if you want to practice and you want more space, then obviously you have to pay for the platform. But for now, today, what you'll be taught today and what you'll be, you'll be wanting to implement, you don't have to pay a single penny for that. So make sure you go and make an AWS account right now. And for the people who already have an AWS account and have joined in, make sure that you introduce yourself again by answering these 3 questions for me. Number 1, where are you currently located in the world? Number 2, what are you currently doing in your particular career? And number 3, what is the level of your knowledge in terms of AWS? So make sure that you answer these 3 questions for me. I'm looking at the chat window, guys. So I want everybody who has joined in to answer these questions for me. I'm sorry. Okay, welcome Idris. Again, guys, for the people who are joining in now, let me introduce myself as well. My name is Shravansh Thakur. I'm a community manager at K21 Academy, and I'll be your host and moderator for today's session. Again, this is going to be a practical session, and we want you guys to follow along as well. So make sure that you have an AWS account. For the people who don't know how to make an AWS account, just go at www.k21academy.com/AWSSA13, and you'll get the proper way, the proper method, step by step, how you can create the AWS account. You have a little bit of time right now, so make sure you go quickly and make this AWS account. It's not going to take a lot of time, so make sure that you do it. Okay, welcome Idris. That's incredible. That's great. That's great. Okay. I see we've got people from all over the world. We've got people from India, we've got people from Nigeria, we've got people from the US. Again, that's great to see that. Okay, so the timer hit zero and we are live with our brand new session on a hands-on lab or a practical implementation of how to create and configure AWS load balancer with EC2 instance. Again, guys, make sure if you are somebody who's new to K21 Academy, who's joining in for the very first time, that you introduce yourself in the chat window by answering these three questions for me. Number one, where are you currently located in the world? Number two, what are you doing in your particular career? And number three, what is the level of knowledge that you have on AWS? Now, this is what I'm talking about for the people who have not still made an AWS account. Guys, make sure that you go and do that. Today is a practical implementation session. So we want you guys to follow along with us and do what we are doing right now and follow along step by step. For you to be able to do that, you need to have an AWS account. If you do not know how to make an AWS account, no worries at all. Just go to this URL that you see on your screen right now. Somebody from my team would put it in the chat window or the comment section as well, and you can go and make an AWS account. Please, I'm requesting you that you go and do this right now. We have got a little bit time before the practical, the hands-on lab starts. So before that, just make sure that you're done with that. Okay, what you'll be learning today. Number one, we're going to start with what is Amazon EC2, then what is a load balancer and what is its use, the different types of load balancers in AWS, create and configure load balancer, how to prepare for AWS Solutions Architect Associate certifications that now has been upgraded. If initially it was SAA C02, now it is SAA C03. Then we will also be talking about a 40 step-by-step hands-on labs and an 8-week roadmap on how to clear the AWS Solutions Architect certification. Then we will be looking at what's the best way for you to prepare for this particular certification as well. This is the demo that we will be covering today. That is the EC2 with load balancer. This is just a little sneak peek, and we will be showing it to you in a much more practical manner. Okay, so let me introduce our trainer for the evening. We've got Aaron with us today. He's an AWS expert. He's got multiple years of experience and close to a decade now working on the AWS. He's a certified AWS solution architect and had worked for top cloud professional services providers in the world as AWS solutions architect and AWS DevOps professional. These are some of the many certifications that he's got to his name. Again, like I mentioned before as well, he's an AWS solutions architect. He's a DevOps engineer as well, developer, system ops administrator, and again, a big data specialist as well. Again, for the people who have still not filled it, I want you guys to please do let me know whether you are a beginner, whether you are an intermediate, or whether you are an expert on AWS. That's great, Idris. We will be talking about the practical implementation side of things as well, because to an extent, you do need practical implementation knowledge as well to clear the certification. But when you look at a job, working in an industry, working in a job, you definitely need more than that. You need proper practical knowledge. And we will be talking about how you can get that as well in the later part of the session. So make sure you're staying till the end as well. Okay, that's great. That's great, Ferdinand. I'm really sorry if I'm pronouncing your name wrong. I'm really bad with names, actually. Okay, I see a lot of you guys are beginners, and we've got maybe one or two intermediates as well. That's good. Good to see that. Are you not able to hear Rebecca? Okay, so Rebecca, what you can do is just leave the session and join in again. We at times sometimes this issue is faced by a few people, but not to worry. You can just leave the session and join in again. For the people who are facing the session, facing this issue, just leave the session quickly and join in again, and it will be resolved. No worries. Okay, great. Again, I see a lot of you guys are beginners. That's great. That's great. Okay, moving on. So again, guys, before I hand it over to our trainer for the evening, for this particular session, let's make sure that this workshop is interactive. You're asking questions, you're answering the questions that we are asking you, and make sure that whatever doubts you have throughout the session, that you are asking those doubts so that your questions are answered. We would find, or we would believe that this session is successful only if your questions are all of your questions are answered, and I'll make sure that that is the case. I've got an incredible team with me as well. We've got two different technical moderators, and then again we've got people to handle your other career oriented doubts as well. So make sure that you are asking your questions. And again, we will be discussing a lot of different things as to what is the how do you practice these different things in a much more practical manner as well. What's the most efficient way that you can prepare for the certification as well. So again, there's a lot of things to come. Just make sure that you're focused and you're asking questions. So I'll be handing it over to Pavan now. Our trade no, oh, sorry, Aman for Aryan. I'm really bad with names. I'm confusing the names now. But yeah, I'll hand it over to Aryan now. I hope I'm audible. Aryan, I think you're on mute. Can you please unmute yourself? I don't know, but I think we're facing a decent bit of troubles with our streaming platform recently.
Okay.
Uh,
Hello, everyone. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, based on the location you have joined. If you can see my screen clearly and if you can hear my voice loud and clear, just a quick S on the chat window so that we can get started. I would need a response from everyone as we would want this session to be more interactive. So, everybody are able to hear me loud and clear and see my screen clearly? Great. Thanks for the confirmation. I'm Aryan. I'm a certified AWS architect and a DevOps professional. So you've seen my desk slide. That's my certification. I also work with the top-notch cloud companies for the cloud solutions as an architect, as a senior architect, and also works towards the DevOps as well. And yeah, so also sometimes towards big data as well. So coming to my training, so I've been training with K21 about from 3 years. I've been taking this several sessions on the solution architect, DevOps professional, and all the other courses on AWS. And I have also a trainer in most of the top-notch training institutes. Right. So in today's session, uh, as my friend said, that we're going to discuss about the EC2 and configuration of the load balancer. So I'll start from the basics, as most of you are beginners. So I'll be explaining you what is Amazon EC2, and then post that we'll be going through what is load balancer and how do we configure that, right? So we're going to do a small demo on how a load balancer will help us to achieve a multi-tenant architecture or a multi-server architecture, I would say, put in a simple words. Now, what is Amazon EC2? Before going there, everybody are clear so far that if I want to run my application or a software, we would need a server for it, right? We would need a server where I install an operating system. On that operating system, I would install my application or a software to run. So this is how you would need, either you want to have a web application or a backend application or a mobile application, be it any application. So if you want to run an application, you would need a server. Now, as you all know, the server is where it is an hardware metal or a bare metal. You would get it in your on-premises infrastructure. So after the cloud coming into picture, what happened? Everything is pay-as-you-go model where you can access the IT resources. So in IT resources, we also include the servers, the database, and the application softwares. So all of these resources, we can access them over the internet. Now, as you know, AWS is one of the top notch cloud provider. So in that, so AWS provides you the servers, right? Over the online through your network, AWS provides you a server through a service called Amazon EC2. EC2 stands for Elastic Compute Cloud. So it simply means that compute is a server where you can do a computational work, and it is through the cloud. And it is called elastic because you can increase the capacity and decrease the capacity whenever you want and however you want, right? So that is where the name comes from. That is where Amazon EC2 stands for. So as I said, EC2, as this is a definition of an Amazon EC2, as I said, elastic compute cloud. It provides a scalable computing capacity. That is why we call it as an elastic. It is not like you require a 10 GB of capacity and then you get a 10 GB of capacity and after that you cannot increase it. There is no as such restriction. So you can increase the capacity whenever you want. That is why we call it as a scalable computing capacity in AWS. So using EC2 eliminates your need to invest in the hardware. So major concern, right? Before cloud coming into picture, in if it is on premises, I will have to pay for my hardware, bare metal, buy it, and then install it, and then manage those servers. So all of this is eliminated. So you can develop and deploy applications faster. So you eliminate the step of buying an hardware, procuring an hardware, installing, managing, maintaining. You eliminate all of these steps, so you get a virtual machine or a server directly from the AWS, where you can deploy, you can develop and deploy your application faster. Right? You can use an Amazon EC2 to launch as many as or as few virtual servers as you need. So EC2 is a service. Within that service, we offer you can avail a virtual machines. So it is up to you that depending on your requirement, whether you are running a small scale company or a mid-sized company or a large scale company, so you can run as many number of virtual machines as up to you, and you only pay for the number of virtual machines you use, right? Based on your usage. So you can also configure the security and networking by yourself, and you can manage the storage of it as well, right? And Amazon EC2 also enables you to scale up and scale down based on the changing of your requirement. Now, as you all know, that any application, the load on that application is not fixed. Most of the applications will, it will be dynamic, right? Sometimes it might be high, sometimes it might be low, sometimes it might be average. Now based on that, if you want to scale up and scale down your capacity, because as you know that here we pay for the amount of capacity you use, right? So unnecessarily keeping my application, keeping a higher capacity for a lesser load does not make sense, right? So or similarly keeping a lesser capacity for a higher load, again the application won't work. Now, in both the situation, you want to get a best out of the cost, best out of the performance, right? In that case, Amazon EC2 will help you to increase the capacity and decrease the capacity. That is called scaling up and scaling down based on your popularity or reducing your need to forecast traffic, right? So you based on the popularity, it can increase and decrease, so that you don't have to forecast your traffic and say that you don't have a separate team sitting there and check the forecasting of your traffic, whether today it will be high or tomorrow the traffic will be high or after 1 month the traffic will be low. You don't have to forecast, and accordingly you don't have to manually do anything here. Everything can be configured automatically. So as you can see in the diagram, this is how EC2 you can picturize. Right, so you here you have a EC2 virtual machine. You have a virtual machine. So here virtual machine servers, AWS EC2 instances. This all means the same. So you have a EC2 machine, virtual machine, right? And that as you know that it is nothing but like your laptop or a desktop. So you have a virtual machine and you need a storage, right? For that you have a EBS volume can be connected to it as a storage. Now EBS volume here will not go in depth of it, but just for your understanding. So EBS volume here is compared to your external hard disk or external hard drive. What you connect to your laptop. Similar to that, we can also have an external hard drive for our EC2 virtual machine for additional storage of the software application and data. Right. This is how you can picturize your EC2 machine. So as you can see, we have several types of EC2 instance types. So within EC2, so as you all know that we have several the server vendors, like you have Intel, you have AMD, right? So these are the major worldwide chip providers or the processor providers. So and each of them has a different capacity, right? Now let's say I might need a 10 GB of server capacity. You might need a 5 GB server capacity, or someone else must be needing a 50 GB server capacity. Now, depending on their requirement, or which is the RAM capacity and the CPU capacity and the memory capacity. So based on that, AWS is having a several instance types. So you can choose those instance types as and when you require it. They're configured into different families, as you can see: general purpose, compute optimized, GPU enabled, memory optimized, right? and storage optimized as well. So depending on your use cases, there are several virtual machines which are optimized. You can choose them based on use cases and accordingly use them, right? So these instance types, there might be different vendor. It could be from an Intel vendor or an AMD vendor. Now just a quick latest update. AWS started preparing its own processors. They're called gravitons. So they're called graviton instance type. So it is used in the IR configuration, so which gives you a better performance and lesser cost compared to what Intel and AMD is providing. So this is just a just a informational thought. So to be updated on the latest news. So AWS also provide their own chips or processors that are called Graviton. I'm not sure if you guys have heard about that particular wordings, but then Graviton is the one which AWS is providing. So that is also one of the instance types which will get added, and you can choose that, which will comparatively, compared to the cost perspective and the performance perspective, it is better than the other two. So that's about EC2. So hope everybody are clear on EC2. If you have any questions, you can post it in the chat window. So EC2 is not a server. So EC2 is a service. So within that service, you request, or you request for a server or a virtual machine, right? So through that service is where you request AWS saying that I want a virtual machine or I want a server. So within that you create a server. So you can call it as in a layman term, you can call it as EC2 as a service through which I can provision a server. Make sense? Okay, great. So now what is load balancer and its use cases? Now, as you all know, we have a virtual machine. Now, let's say, for example, I hosted a web application on my particular virtual machine. So every virtual machine will have an IP address through which I can connect to that virtual machine from the outside world, right? So let's say, for example, I want to install a web application inside my virtual machine. If I want to connect to that web application from the World Wide Web, I need an IP address. Basic term, I would need an IP address. So I have an IP address, and I want to connect to the particular virtual machine, right? So in that case, what will happen? So I will have an IP address, and I will be connecting to that particular virtual machine through the World Wide Web. Now, as you all know that currently, you see that most of the organization uses multi-tenant architecture or a multi-architecture, and there will be no monolithic architecture for any software or any application. It is also called a distributed architecture, where for one particular application there will not be only one server. There will have at least two or more than two servers. Now, when you have two or more than two servers for a single application, let's say I have an application X or application A, and for this application, I have for around three servers hosting that particular application. Now, when I have a three servers, now we have a problem that the three servers are having three different IP addresses. So we cannot give three different IP addresses to the customers or the users to remember the three different IP address. For that namesake, remember the three different domain names to connect to my application, which is not feasible. So everybody requires a one point of contact. Backend, you have three, you have four, you have five. Customers or users are least bothered about it. They want to have a one point of contact, let's say the URL or the IP address where they can connect to it. Now, in order to resolve this problem, let's say I have a three servers, I have three IP address. All of that has to have a single point of contact where I have to access my application. So the single point of contact and distributing the traffic, and the traffic has to be distributed across three servers for my application. So all of this can be achieved by a service called load balancer. So load balancer will come into picture to distribute your load between multiple servers, right? So just what I'm talking, let me if I want to show you in a practical way, so let me also open the browser, and let's say we have two servers running, as you can see my screen. Let me see what are you see. Okay, perfect. So as you can see, we have two servers running. So let's say let's in this particular, these are called virtual machines or a server, right? As you can see, if you go, this is your AWS console. Once you log into your AWS management console, this is how it looks like. Now here EC2 is a service. As I said, if I click on an EC2 service, you can also search for EC2 in the search window as well. You see this is a dashboard for EC2, and if you go to the servers or instances, so in AWS terminology we call them as instances. So you'll see the number of servers which which are using in your account. I have 2 servers currently running. Now this is my server 1. So where I have hosted a web application, right, which gives me a response if I connect to this. So if you can see, these are the details you would see of the server. So there are a lot of details. I'll not get into this, but as of now, the basic details is, for this particular server, I have a public IP address which is there. I have a private IP address which is only allowed to connect privately. But currently, I want to connect to it from the World Wide Web outside AWS. So for that, I have a public IP address. I'm going to copy this particular IP address and try to ping this particular server and click on enter. So as you can see, you get a response from this particular website, because this is the web page I have installed in this particular server. That is why I'm getting. It is giving a message that hello from the web server 1. Now similarly, if the same thing I also want to install in web server 2, right? So you have the other server, you have web server 2. I want to install the same thing in the web server 2 as well, right? Because I want to make the higher availability. Because if some one of the server goes down, so this is basically to achieve the higher availability, right? What is higher availability? So that you need to make sure that no matter what is your hardware failure or of software failure, network failure, or any other failure, your particular application should be up and running. So if I have 2 servers, my availability is higher, because if one of the server is down, I can serve the users from another server, right? Now, if I have also installed the same particular software into the web server 2 as well, right? If you click on the web server 2, and if I copy the particular IP address, so as you can see, the IP address of this is the first server IP address, which is 34.226, and the second server IP address starts from 18.234. And as you can see, the IP addresses are different, but as you can see, the message here is web server 2, but then the web page is similar, right? This is the web page I want to get into. Now, if I want to connect to these particular website, and the traffic which is coming from the outside world has to be distributed, so that is where I also want to have a single point of contact. I do not want to specify both of the servers, right? So I want to use only one server or one particular point of contact. Clear? Now, as you can see, here we have 2 servers. I want to have a single point of contact. I do not want to have a multiple IP address. Multiple IP address. So I want to have a single single particular URL or a DNS, wherein I want to access both the servers. Now, in that case is where your load balancer comes into picture. Right, in that case is where your load balancer comes into picture, and that is how the use cases is. I hope everybody are aware why load balancer use. Hope everybody are clear on this. Now, as I was explaining, so we have multiple users, user 1, user 2, user 3, connecting to my particular website. So here, as you can see, I have 3 servers hosting my application to balance the load, right? So okay, just a moment. So I have 3 servers hosted in my application to balance the load. Now, load balancer will be a single point of contact for all the users, and after that, the load balancer is going to make sure to distribute the traffic equally among the 3 load balancers, so that you will avoid the server breakdown by overwhelming a single server, right? Although no matter how much over the traffic comes into picture, so load balancer is going to make sure to distribute the traffic across all the servers and give the response back to the users, right? So as you can see in the diagram, this is how the load balancer is going to do internally. Clear? So and also load balancer does a lot of additional things. It also does an health check. So for example, let's say I have 3 servers behind my load balancer, and one of the server went down due to any other any problem, like it is a hardware failure.
Sir, really sorry to interrupt you. Could you use the full screen mode? I think that
uh,
then it will be much more, a little more clearer.
just a moment. It is you the presentation is in the full screen mode now.
Okay. Okay, sure. Thank you.
Okay. Yeah. So as I was saying, so for example, due to some of the failure, some of the internal error, the one of the server went down. So in the backend, right? So in that case, so let's say this particular server went down. In that case, what will happen? The load balancer is going to automatically identify the health of this particular server. There's no manual step here. It is going to automatically identify the health and consider this particular server as unhealthy. So it's going to consider, okay, it's going to consider this particular server as unhealthy. Sorry. Yeah, it's going to consider this particular server as unhealthy, and it is going to start sending the traffic, all the traffic to the 2 servers only, and it will not send the traffic to the third server which is down. So which means that the user who are accessing this particular application will not even know that one of the server is down in the back end, and they will not even face any problem because their server, their requests are being answered by the other 2 servers. Clear? So this is how load balancer does. It does major 2 tasks. One is the distribution of the traffic between the multiple servers, and it acts as a single point of contact, and it also perform an L check in the backend, so that if any of the servers go down, so it is make sure that it is going to stop sending the traffic to that particular servers and send only traffic to the healthy servers. Clear? Now different types of load balancers. So AWS offers you 3 types of load balancers. So one is an application load balancer, which is also called ALB. We have a network load balancer, which is called NLB. We also have a gateway load balancer. So there are 3 types of load balancers are available. So you can every load balancer are also the major use case of the load balancer is same. The differentiation is that so they are used in different use cases. So let us see what are those. So application load balancer is majorly used for the HTTP and HTTPS traffic, right? So if it is a web server, if it is a website, or if it is a web server, so in that case you use an application load balancer where application is facing the outside world, and you want to deal with an HTTP traffic or an HTTPS traffic. That is where you use a application load balancer. So application load balancer is a pretty advanced load balancer. It is having an advanced routing mechanism. So we will go will not go deep dive about this now, but then as we in the class we will be understanding in detail about it. So there are different types of routing, how it has to be routed, based on what rule it has to be routed, to which server it has to be routed. So all of those can be done in the application load balancer, and the majority of the users use application load balancers for the HTTP and HTTPS traffic. So we also have a network load balancer. So network load balancer basically used for when you need an ultra high performance, right? So it is basically used for TLS offloading at scale. So basically we use it for UDP protocol. So if we're using a UDP protocol or a TLS, in that case we use network load balancer. So TCP, UDP, TLS, when you're using these kind of protocols and this kind of network communication, so then we use a network load balancer. And network load balancer is a very high performing load balancer. It is capable of handling millions of requests per second securely while maintaining ultra low latency. So if your concern is that it is a latency and you have millions of requests coming in, let's say you just imagine an example of a very big company where they're like a streaming company like Disney Hotstar, so Disney Hotstar, or you can Amazon, Netflix. So these companies, they have millions of requests coming in, right? So they distribute the traffic using a network load balancer with a which is capable of handling the millions of requests per second. and that is also securely, and it also will be maintaining the ultra low latency as well at the same time, right? So we have a gateway load balancer, the third type of load balancer, which got added to the AWS. I think it was in the it has been almost 1 year, one and a half year. So gateway load balancer is need to deploy and manage a fleet of third-party virtual appliances. Now, for example, you have a third-party virtual appliances which are not on AWS. You're not hosting on AWS, but you have a particular virtual appliances distributed outside AWS, and for that you want to have a load balancer to distribute a traffic for a third-party virtual appliances. That is where we use gateway load balancer. So they use one particular protocol called Geneva protocol. So it supports the Geneva protocol. So Geneva is a standard protocol which is used for the third-party virtual appliances, and gateway load balancer supports it. So this particular load balancer will also help you to improve the security, compliance, and policy control as well, right? So these are the three types of load balancers what AWS offers. So that's about your load balancers. Hope everybody are clear on why load balancer is used, what are the different types of load balancer AWS offers. Any questions, guys? Great. Hope everybody are clear on whatever we discussed so far. Everybody are clear on what is EC2, what is load balancer. Now let us see.
Question. Really sorry to interrupt. We've got a question on the chat. It's from Sammy. Could you give a use case for gateway load balancer?
Yeah. So gateway load balancer is basically if you're using an IoT devices, right? Now, for example, we have a mobile application, web application. So we have hosted those applications on the AWS. So we are good there. So what about your smart device applications or IoT applications like your smart TV, your smart refrigerator, smart security, smart camera? So what will happen? The application will be running on those devices which are outside AWS. Now you want to distribute a traffic between them, and these are called a virtual appliances, right? These are the virtual appliances. Now if you want to connect to these virtual appliances, that is where we use the gateway the third load balancer is a gateway load balancer. Hope that answers your question. So just to put it in a simpler way, it is used where if the appliances are outside AWS, for if you want to distribute traffic between them, then we use gateway load balancer. Hope that answers your question.
Yes, sir.
Okay, great. Okay. So next, what we're gonna do is we're gonna see briefly that how a load balancer can be configured, and how, as I said in the previously, I was connecting to my server individually by typing their IP address. Now let us see how I can use a load balancer and try to see if the load balancer can connect to my servers.
If you guys have any questions, make sure you put them in the comment section or the chat window. We'll be picking them up as we go. And again, if there are a lot of questions, we'll pick them up at the end of the technical portion.
Okay, so as you can see now here, we have EC2 instances. We have two EC2 instances now. I do not want to type the individual. I do not want to type the individual load balancers. Sorry, I do not want to type the individual IP address to connect to this particular virtual machine. So I would need the. I would just. I would need the. I would need the single point of contact to connect to this particular virtual machines. Now for that, what I'm going to do is I'm going to configure a load balancer. So if you see, we have a load balancer service here. So here, what you can do is you can click on a create a load balancer. So click on create a load balancer. As you can see, you have three options. So application load balancer, network load balancer, gateway load balancer. So I'll show you how to configure this load balancer. So click on create a load balancer. Now let's say you can give a load balancer name. I'll give it as a demo LB, and I'll say it as an internet facing. So we are using an IPv4 address, right? So the network mapping is very important. So as you all know, network it will be we use a VPC in AWS. So in EPC we have an availability zones. So it has to cover all the availability zone which is there in your particular EC2 server. Now, for example, currently my EC2 services, if you can see, if you can see here, so they are hosted in US East 1C and US East 1A. So both of them are hosted in a different availability zone, although it is in the same region. They are hosted in a different availability zone. So you should make sure that your load balancer cover those availability zone. So I'm going to cover US East 1A and 1C. So if you want, you can cover all the availability zone for the safer side, right? And then you can configure the security group. So you can also create a new security group. So I'm gonna delete the older security group and click on create a new security group. Where what I would be doing is, so click on create a new security group. So security groups acts as a firewall here. So I'm gonna say it as demo security group. And if you want to give a description, you can give a description. I'm gonna say inbound rule, add a rule. So I'll say I'm gonna allow all the traffic, or let's say HTTP traffic from anywhere in the world, because I want to access it from anywhere in the world. So I'm gonna say anywhere in the world. So that is the inbound rule. And whatever the traffic, all the traffic which is going here, what I can do is I can add a rule saying that all the traffic has to go to a particular security group. Here, what security group it has to go? It has to go to the security group of the EC2 instances what you have configured. So here, how do you identify the security group of the EC2 instances? So if you are already created it, it will be available here. Here, as you can see in the name, it is written as CLBSG. So let me see for the server one if it is the same. Go to the security option, you will see CLBSG. So my outbound has to be to the, as you know, the load balancer acts as a front end. It accepts the traffic from everywhere in the world, and it has to push that traffic to the all the servers in the world. So you have to go to the outbound configuration what we are doing. So where we are configuring a security group. So outbound rule, all the traffic has to go to, you can remove this and search for SG. You have CLBSG. So this is what the traffic has to be there. I'm going to delete this. So I'm going to say, as you can see, this is the rule. This is the security group rule of my load balancer. All the traffic has to come. Let's say I can give all the traffic as well. Or if you want to be specific to one particular HTTPS traffic, you can do that as well. So for the certificate zipper, I have done it for all the traffic. So all the traffic from anywhere in the world is allowed to my particular load balancer. And all the outbound has to go to the security group of the EC2, where the EC2 is going to accept the traffic, and then it is going to pass on to the virtual machine, right? So click on create. Okay, so description, allow HTTP request. So outbound rule is here, inbound rule is here, right? And click on create. The security group is getting created. Now the demo security group got created. I'll go back to my load balancer and I'm going to use that load balancer security group what I just created, refresh it, and then look for it. The demo security group is created. I'm going to select that. I'm going to delete the default one. I'm going to select the demo security group, saying that the traffic has to flow in a certain way, that it has to come to the load balancer, and from the load balancer it has to go to the EC2 virtual machine. Now I'll give less of the things optional. So now you can summarize. I've named it as demo LB, internet facing IPv4 address, demo security group, VPC US East 1A and 1C. And what we are listening port 80. And here, one more thing you need to do is that you will have to forward this particular request. So the load balancer is going to listen to the port 80, that is the HTTP request, but it has to forward to a particular target group. So here, let's see, I'm going to create a new target group. So where we have to mention, so what is the target group and where it has to send the traffic to. So in this target group, I can add multiple servers, I can add multiple IP addresses, Lambda functions, other load balancer. As of now, I'm going to add instances. So click on next. I'm going to give a target group name as demo. So here, as you can see, it lists out all the virtual machines which are available in that particular availability zone you have selected. As you can see, with the web server 1, web server 2 is available. I'm going to select both of them and include as pending below. So as the targets are added. And then what I'm going to do, I'm going to click on create a target group. Now the target group is created. The target group is called demo, right? And then you go back to the load balancer configuration. So here select, I want to forward it to, click on refresh. And here I'll say I want to forward it to demo target group where my both of the servers are hosted. Or both of the servers are the work as a target, right? And you come down here, you see that in the summary, port 80, and we are routing it to demo target group. Now what I'm going to do, I'm going to click on create a load balancer. Now as you can see, the load balancer is getting created. It's in the provisioning state. It will take some time. So let's wait until the load balancer is ready. There's no screen lag, so you're able to see the load balancer configuration, right?
Manish, if you're facing any kind of screen lag, could you please just get out of the session and then join in again? I think that would resolve the issue. If you're still facing the issue, then put it in the chat window. I'll have a look. Otherwise, I think there's no stream lag from that perspective. Because I've also joined and I'm not facing that, or any of the other people. So try that, and if there's still an issue, you can then try to join in on any of our different social media platforms. That's YouTube or LinkedIn and Facebook as well. Sir, while the load balancer is being loaded, can you answer one question from Idris? Please clear distinction between ALB and MTW.
What is NTW? What do you mean by NTW? Can you elaborate on that?
Idris, can you please elaborate on NTW? Because that's what it is written there. So just network load balancer.
So that is NLB. So NLB stands for Network Load Balancer. So the major difference between the application load balancer and network load balancer is the protocol they handle and the layer they operate in. Right. So the application load balancer works in the layer 7, that is your HTTP and HTTPS request. The network load balancer works in the layer 4, where it deals with the TCP, UDP, TLS request. So that is the major difference between the two load balancers. And there are a lot of other differences if we deep dive, but as of now, you need to know this major difference. Yeah, hope that answers your question.
Yes, sir. Guys, again, if you guys have any questions so far, if there is any kind of doubt, make sure you're asking them in the chat window so that we can directly pick up. Ideally, I feel like your question is incomplete. Could you please elaborate your question so that I can directly ask that?
Okay, so as you can see, the load balancer is active. It has come to an active state, and then it is up and running. Now, what I do is, if you go down towards the load balancer, we have a load balancer DNS name. So I have a DNS name. I can connect to this particular DNS. I have a single point of contact. What I'm going to do is I'm going to connect to this particular DNS, and then I'm going to go to my other tab and type this DNS name. Now, what I'm doing, I'm sending a request to the load balancer DNS, not the server. I'm not sending a request directly to the server. When I click on enter, as everybody can see, my request went to a server 1. Now, how do you identify that the traffic is getting distributed? Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to send in one more request by clicking on a refresh, and I'm going to click on enter again. Everybody can see the request went to the server 2. As everybody can see, what is happening? The one request is going to server 1, the other request is going to server 2. Like that, the shift has been happening. If I click on refresh again, it will go to a server 1. I'll click on refresh again, it go to a server 2. What is happening here? The traffic, what we are sending to the load balancer, it is equally distributing, it is equally shooting to the two servers separately, so that there is no overload on a single server. So that is how. Now I'm not typing two IP addresses or two DNS to connect to these two servers. It is a single DNS, but I'm connecting to the both of the server 1 and the server 2. Clear? Now let us also check the health of, for example, let's say I'm connecting to a server 1, and I'll go to my EC2 dashboard. What I'm going to do is I'm going to stop one of a server. Let's say I'm going to stop server 1, which means that there is some issue or some failure happens, and I'm going to stop this particular instance and click on stop. So as you can see, my server 1 is stopping, which means that it will stop accepting the request. Ideally, in this case, if you try to connect to this server, you will get an error, right? If you hit this particular IP address, you will get the error that the site not reached error. So which is not a good, experience for any user. Now, still, if I go to the load balancer, now see, if I click on refresh, automatically my request went to server 2. Now, how many times I click on refresh, my request will not go to server 2 no matter what. I'm clicking on enter a couple of times. I'm clicking on refresh couple of times. I'm sending multiple requests. So load balancer is making sure that all my requests are going to server 2, and not even a single time it showed me that the server site not reachable error, which means that as a user, it is giving me a very good experience. But in the backend, there's actually one server is down. So that is the beauty of a load balancer, where it will help you to make sure higher availability and also maintain the user experience. Now I'm hitting it multiple times. I'm hitting it multiple times. I'm refreshing it. but all the requests are going to server 2 because server 1 is unhealthy, load balancer has identified it, and then it stops sending a traffic and it will forward all the traffic to the server 2. I hope everybody are clear on this demo, guys. That's about this particular demo. If you have any questions, you can post them. So this is what we have achieved. We have a load balancer and we have a server 1 and server 2, where the traffic of the users was been distributed, and if anything goes down, it's gonna make sure that you're gonna request a send to the healthy server. Clear? So that's about this demo. And now let's talk about the certification here. Why AWS certifications? So AWS provides you multiple certifications, as you can see, starting from the practitioner. In the associate level, we have solution architect, sysops administrator, developer. In the professional side, we have solution architect professional, DevOps engineer professional, and we also have a specialty certification with respect to networking, security, machine learning, Alexa, data analytics, database, right? So these are the various. Okay, my Alexa is responding. It's because I called Alexa. Okay, so so we have these are the certificates, the registered certificates from the AWS website. Now these are the which have been highlighted. These are the two major certificates which are highly in demand, and this is the major two certificates which has been offered by K21 website as well. And as you can see, we also have a AWS Cloud Practitioner, which is here. If you are a beginner, we also offer this particular course practitioner for free. And why certification is important? So why AWS has decided, it is set standard that if you want to gain a knowledge on AWS, let's say you have a knowledge on AWS, how do you prove it? It is through a certification. Now you can see that any even if you are certification, if you're applying for the interviews, right? So there are a lot of employees who will applying for the interviews, and the HR, the recruiter will only look into your resume only for few seconds, or let's say for a minute maximum, or less than a minute. But then you will shortlist your particular CV, because there will be thousands of CV. Out of that, they will only shortlist 50 to 100 CVs, right? So if you want to be in that 50 to 100, so there has to be something in your resume under the certification where you have done a certification which proves that, okay, this particular person is having a required knowledge. So certification will help you in that. Not only that, it also help you to gain knowledge, and also gives you a working experience as well. Now, as you can see, coming to the AWS jobs, we have several options here. We have multiple job options in USA, in Canada, we have it in UK, India. There are multiple companies hiring for AWS. So you do not have to worry about the jobs openings on the AWS technology. You don't have to worry about that at all. And as you can see, this is what I was explaining. You have too many CVs, how the particular CV gets picked up. So let me ask you a question. So if you can see, you have two CVs under left or a right. So if you are a recruiter and you're hiring for AWS certified engineer or AWS solution architect, which is the CV you would pick? You can type it in the chat window. So which is the CV you would pick? Either the left one or the right one. So you have only you're just glancing at, and then on the glasses it either one of the CV I want to pick. So which is the CV you would pick? Everybody can answer this.
So majority of the answers are right one.
Yeah. So as you can see, that's how it's configured. That's how everybody selects it. So that is why we see that certification are very important, because everybody are gonna choose a CV which is having a certificates listed there. Now, learning paths for with respect to AWS Solution Architect. So this is what has been configured. We have done a lot of deep dive as per the latest examination, and then we have configured this particular learning path. So this is the week 1, day 2, day 3, week 2, week 3, week 4, week 5 has been configured. So these are the modules. So module 1 to module 10, we have module. Okay, so as you can see, as I said, so we have module 8 and we have module till module 10. So we'll be covering these topics is a learning path starting from introduction to cloud and AWS. We'll start from the basic and we're gonna go deep dive into the AWS. We're gonna start the AWS. We're gonna deep dive into security. We're gonna deep dive into the load balancer, storage options, computing, and then networking and management. We also look into the monitoring services. And in the module 7, we're going to discuss about the database services. And then in module 8, we'll be discussing about application messaging services. We also have module 9 where we'll be discussing about the configuration management automation. We're going to go deep dive. We also discuss about advanced concepts as well. And module 10, we're going to discuss with respect to the architecture, how you would architect your application on AWS. And then in module 11, we also talk about the machine learning. So this machine learning part is being added from the C03 from the latest examination. So we also have a module for it, right? And in the last days where we're gonna discuss about in detail about the exam preparation, that what are the sample exam questions. We also gonna do a live quizzes, and I'm gonna ask you the questions. And after the entire course, we'll see how much you're gonna be able to prepare. What is the gap where you need to learn more, where you need to focus more. We're gonna have a deep dive discussion on the examination details as well. So this is the entire package we would deliver with respect to the certification. And we also have a project in the real time as well. So we also give a project for you to work on. Multiple projects are there. You can work on each of the projects, and then you can also gain the hands-on experience as well. So we also have a CV preparation, interview questions, and also help in job support as well. So with this, you get an AWS Certified Solution Architect certificate. So you also get these benefits with respect to our K21 course. So we all with respect to with this course which has been there, this is the learning path what you saw in the previous slide. So which also includes 40 plus hands-on labs. So we also emphasize on hands-on lab because we also want to need apart from clearing your certification, we also want you to have a hands-on experience as well. So the certification demands hands-on experience, but for your work it is must, right? So you cannot just work with a theoretical knowledge. You need an hands-on experience. We also cover most of the activity guides. We have an activity guide. We have 40 plus activity guides based on different categories and different services. So we will be going through these particular services in our live classes. And we have several demos on the databases, configuration management, and automation, right? So 40 plus hands-on labs are there. We have an activity guide. We call them as an activity guide, and everything will be available in your website, K21 website. And we'll also be doing it in the live class. And a step-by-step of that particular demo will also be given to you. Apart from that, we also have a sample quizzes for each of the modules, right? So if you want to check your knowledge on the module wise, you also have a sample quizzes on each of the modules. So you can access those particular quizzes. You can also answer that and check your knowledge as well. So that is also part of this. Your K21 website, you would get the sample quizzes as well. And if you have any questions on those quizzes where you got it wrong, and then you want to know what is the reason, you have a detailed explanation. As you can see, we have an explanation why this particular answer is the right answer and why the other options are not the right answer, right? So these are the certificate sample quizzes. As you can see, you can check and you can also select the correct answer here. This is how the quizzes looks like. We have 250 plus sample quizzes, and we can keep on adding the latest questions as well into the website. So that's about your particular course, guys. If you have further any questions, you can always reach out to the K21 team. They'll be able to help you more with that. So with this, I'm signing off. So I'll hand over to I'll hand over to
Shivam.
Yeah.
Thank you very much,
So
sir.
you can take it over. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, sir. Thank you again, guys. I hope till now you have enjoyed the session so far. So could you please rate the session out of 5, 5 being the highest? I am looking at the chat window and I will be moving forward as well, but I want to see the rating first. 5 being the highest, and anything below than that, please do mention the reason as well so that we can improve in the future sessions. Again, a lot of you guys had asked about whether the recording of this session would be provided or not. The people who have registered for this session, they will get the recording, and they will get the recording if they are staying till the end of the session. Once the entire session is over, you'll probably get an email of the session with maybe a few more blogs and the session recording as well. As for Idris, your question, can I have training, hands-on lab alone? I need internship training. How can I be helped? So I will be going a little deep down. I'll have a look at the training, the learning path once more, and give you a better, explanation of certain things that are part of it, so as to give you. I think your that particular question would have been answered there only. So I'll have a look at you and yeah, definitely. So Idris, I think a lot of your questions would be answered with the things that I'll be covering very soon. So just give me a moment and let me explain it to you, everything. Okay, just give me one moment. So even when you look at the learning path, guys, you see from the very start, we start from the very basics. So even if you are a beginner, no worries at all. We start from the very basics, from introduction to cloud and AWS, and so on. We move on towards other things like, this the secondary part of it. Because again, every module you'll see that there are hands-on labs associated as well. The reason why is that is because there are a lot of different things that you can learn theoretically, but again, you need to learn the practical implementation of those things as well. And I believe Idris is currently facing the similar issue where he had learned uh, the 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 theoretical knowledge, but is kind of lacking somewhere or around in terms of the hands-on or the practical implementation part. So that is something that we have taken in great consideration while creating this learning path as well. And this learning path is just not from a course perspective. This is the most efficient way of of learning and preparing for this particular certification exam. So again, that we move on to database server and analytics, and you'll see that the level is also increasing with every ongoing week and day, because again, things are moving on in a way where we understand that okay, this much amount of time you need for you to learn, process, and then move to the next level of things. So that's where the entire program is constructed, and you'll see that there are hands-on labs associated with uh, almost every module that there is, and that is the reason behind that. As for you, Idris, again, these particular training programs as well has much lesser people in them. Like every batch is around 25 people or less. So you are able to interact with trainer much more. You would have the chance to interact with them in the session as well. This particular session you're not allowed to unmute yourself. In the sessions you will be allowed to unmute yourself. Along with that, we do help you with your CV preparation for every job opportunity you apply. We do help you with interview questions as well, as for the questions that would be asked in the interview, and we do help you with the on-job support as well. That means once you have gotten the job, for the next 1 year of you buying the course, you will be provided on-job support as well. And I certainly believe even if you don't want the theoretical knowledge things, you still can brush up on the knowledge that you have. And this you have cleared the SAA C02 certification. Now the certification has been updated and is now the CO3 certification. So I think there are a few newer things that has been added, so you would definitely need that as well. Okay. And again, the hands-on labs, like the modules, we start from the very basics, create AWS free trial account, and we move on to the highest level, that's deploy a web application using Elastic Beanstalk. Again, that is simple and sober, where you will get to learn things from the very scratch, and those things you get the practical implementation part of it as well. These sample exam questions, they would help you in both the different ends. That is the certification exam itself, and also for the interview questions. Again, these are two different things as well. The format is a similar one, but these are two different things. Now, how do you learn all of this quickly and get a high paid job? Because again, we talked about the multiple job opportunities that are there, and we talked about that there is a huge demand in the market as well. But how do you actually get that is the question that comes up. And this is how you get that. So this is the course that K21 Academy offers. Again, there are limited seats, 25 something is the number for every batch. So that is something that you have to keep in mind. Again, there are 13 modules. Modules I already showed you, 100 plus lessons, 40 hands-on labs, 250 plus exam questions, CV prep, and on-job support. Again, guys, if you guys have any questions, please do put them down in the chat window. I'll be looking at them and cover each and everything and answer your questions as we go. As for Idris, I would recommend you to actually put your phone number as well as your email ID in the chat window. Again, the chat window is only visible to us, so you are very much assured of your privacy. Somebody from my team would come in touch with you once this session is over, and they'd help you out with whatever problems or issues that you're facing. Okay, what our unique training methodology, or what actually sets K21 apart from the other trainings that you could get? Number one is that you get free on-job support. That means once you have, we are so confident in you guys and our training that we are pretty much sure that you will get the job. So once you are done with your particular training and you get a job, you will be provided assistance from our end, from our expert trainers. So even if you are working in a company, we understand that initially you might face a few difficulties with questions, with problems. So you can come back to us and ask your doubts. And for the next 1 year of you buying the course, we would help you in that. Then there are weekly live interactive sessions and well-done videos. That means these are sessions like this, but in those sessions you would be allowed to unmute yourself and ask your questions as well. Because again, the number of people are less, there won't be much of a chance for chaos. So again, it would be much better. Post-session recording and exam prep. So you were asking for the recording of this session. Over there, you would get the recording for every session that happens. Along with that, you get the presentation for those sessions as well. Then job preparation, you get the CV review and interview questions. Like I mentioned before, you get WhatsApp and ticketing support system. Whatever doubts you have two different options that you can get them solved. Number one is directly going on a WhatsApp community feature and putting your question there. And the second one is ticketing support system, in which you actually just so this particular thing is called we have a platform called Zendesk, where you go and you put your doubt there and you get a ticket number. Now this is a support system we prefer to use when the doubts are slightly more complex and they're going to take a lot of a little bit more time. Usually the response time on WhatsApp is between 12 to 24 hours, but on the ticketing system support system, because the doubts are slightly more complex, the timing is between 24 to 48 hours. But again, all the doubts are being answered, and even if there is, for some reason whatsoever, if we are not able to answer doubt, you can come back to us and be like, this is my ticketing support, this is my ticket number, where is the answer to my question, why it hasn't been answered, and you can hold us accountable. Currently we have had 10,000 plus happy customers community, and I like to call it family members of sorts. K21 Academy is a huge family. We've got expert trainers, we've got students as well, again, who comes from different walks of life, different continents and countries and so on. So again, we have got a lot of people who have signed up on our platform and eventually got certified, and now are in their own successful cloud careers. Again, we have extensive hands-on workshops and step-by-step guides. So every hands-on lab that you have seen so far, you not only just get the hands-on lab, but you also get a proper step-by-step guide, where you get to learn how to actually go and practice that hands-on lab. But that hands-on lab, in addition to getting the step-by-step guides, those hands-on labs are attempted in live classes as well, where the trainer would actually show you how to do this particular hands-on lab, and then you can practice on your own at your time. There is the lifetime access to the portal, so all the pre-recorded videos and the session recordings, they would be available with you for lifetime, so you can come back as many times as you want, and you can actually ask your sorry you can practice watch those videos again. If there is, yeah, definitely somebody from my team would reach out to you and would help you out in that worries, in that case. No worry. That's great, Kuntal. That's incredible. Great to see you. Yeah, Idris, we have got yeah, we've got a few Nigerian students or learners at K21 Academy as well. And no worries, you can actually check them out on k21academy.com/testimonials, I believe is the link. Otherwise, no worries. Somebody from my team would definitely get in touch with you after post the session, and they'll help you out with whatever doubts you have. Again, the main goal of the entire training is either is to get you certified, as well as to get you your dream job as well. So guys, don't worry on that space. Okay, moving on. Now the results. You guys asked about that. This has been asking about this for a few minutes now, so I'll just explain it to you. So we have got many people who have, gotten certified, clear the certification exam. I'll just read out a few screenshots. Hi, I've cleared my AWS Solution Architect certificate yesterday. Thanks K21 Academy for the guidance. Your guidance to get a job without experience, as I am from a totally different field. Thanks. Then we've got Kaushik here with us. Good evening, Atul and K21 team. This is to inform you that I have successfully cleared the AWS Solution Architect Associate certification. This was only possible because of you and the entire team support. And I would also like to highlight that the contents are extremely helpful and the quality of lecture delivered. Thanks, Nisha, have guided me to the path of success in first attempt. This is also to extremely worthy mention here, the flexibility offered by K21 through this professional course. Without any reservation, I can confirm that it helped me a lot to uplift knowledge in this cloud domain significantly. So guys, if you want to check more of these out, you can go at k21academy.com/testimonials, and you'll get a bunch of them over there that would help you out. Uh, Anuj, Anujit says, thank you, K21. I finally passed exam after long achievement. Thanks for your support. Again, guys, there are many people like who have joined our courses and then eventually gotten certified as well. This is how the the certificate looks like if you have not seen one before. And these are again our students who have been able to clear the certifications before. We've got Adewali here with us, we've got Hima here with us, we've got Bolaji here with us. And again, majority of our students are not restricted to one geographical location. We've got people from US, Canada, UK, India, Nigeria, UAE, and so many more locations. We've even got people from Taiwan, I believe. Again, we've got people who have gotten jobs as well. So Idris, you had that reservation, so I hope that is cleared now. I just want to let you know, but I got two offers today based on my AWS certification solutions architect. Really do appreciate the K21 Academy team. Then we've got Dinesh as well. I got a job as technical program manager on cloud, just received the offer last week. Again, Kamala, she also started as a cloud data architect. Really appreciate all your team's help in interview preparations. Thank you again. Please give me a call when you get a chance. So again, guys, very much possible for you to clear your particular certification. So again, this is what our students say. After joining K21 Academy for Oracle Cloud Infrastructure, Fusion Middleware, and Oracle DBA Cloud course, I become Cloud Architect. Now I'm 3 years experience with Cloud Architect role and worked for many clients like Deloitte, insurance companies. I'm an AWS Cloud and Azure Architect. Then we've got another feedback. Excellent training. Here we've got trainers like Subbu, Jigar. I'm taking these names and I have attended their sessions. No trainers work extra beyond agreed time. Trainers here work effortlessly without time constraints. Conceptual clarity, you will get conceptual clarity by attending training several times and as per your convenience. This is really very important to work with new technology along with certification. Madhukar, to know the tuition fee, I will be sharing one particular link with you guys, and I want you guys to go. It's another free class, but I want you guys to go and actually check that, because again, in that, not only you get this particular course, that's the AWS Solutions Architect, but you actually get a few other things as well. So make sure once that you're staying till the end, so that you can get covered and get an insight on that as well. I'm glad, Idris. I'm just imagine that these are just short free sessions. What is going to be the results when you join the entire full training? Okay, I'll just read one more out. Wow, you are just amazing, Atul. For me, the best thing with K21 is that you made me hungry again for knowledge after 10 to 15 years. So again, age is not a constraint with us. We've got young people here with us as well who are just either in college or just got out of college, and we've got people here with us who've got tens of experience, decades of experience. So this was what I was talking about, Madhukar, that we've got this free class. It's AWS Solutions Architect Certification and Higher Paid Job for Beginners and Demo. So there is a demo here as well. But in this, we cover a step forward. You get a lot more in depth about who should be learning AWS, why you should be learning AWS, what's the average salary packages that you get, what are the job opportunities, the core AWS services, IAM, compute, storage, networking, HA, and DR architecture. Again, the demo is kind of similar, but again, there would be some additional things over there as well. This is slightly shorter session over there. The session would be a little more longer. You do get to know about what is the price of the course, but also you get a bunch of different bonuses there as well that you would not get. And there are slightly, we are planning to give you guys an off as well for the people who are action takers. And even if you at the end you don't decide, you decide not to go with the course, with the training program, then also you'll get 25 sample exam questions for AWS Solutions Architect as a free bonus. Again, you just have to make sure that you're attending the free class till the end. It's absolutely for free. You don't have to pay anything. You don't even have to buy the course for that. You just go register for the free class and attend the free class till the end. But for the course details, what we are covering in the course, who is going to be teaching the course, a lot more details, if you want to know in depth, just go at k21academy.com/AWSSA02. And if you are somebody who is already convinced that, okay, I want to, that's great. I'm pretty much convinced in terms of, that I want to buy this course now. I don't want to, go and watch this free class. Just make sure that uh, just put your phone number as well as your email ID in the chat window. Idris, I've received yours. Madhukar, if you want to do that, please do that as well. Somebody from my team would immediately get in touch with you once this session is over, and they would personally help you with whatever doubts, whatever issues, whatever reservations you have in terms of okay, I am working in a currently working in a non-IT domain, or how would I get the time? What if I am not able to attend a particular session, I miss a session, maybe because could be anything. We live in a dynamic world. There might be a wedding to attend, there might be an emergency to go and see, and all of that stuff. So absolutely fine. My team is there to help you out with whatever doubts, issues that you guys have, and it would be really good for you if you actually decide to take this step up. But to know, and if you just want to know the course better, what we are offering, just go at this particular URL, that's k21academy.com/AWS SA02. Somebody from my team would put this particular link in the chat window, and from there you can just click on this and be directed over there. So we are trying to make it as easy as possible for you, because at times I understand it's a little bit of a difficulty to write the entire URL. So absolutely fine. Somebody from my team would put it in the chat window, and over there you can have a look at that as well. Any questions, guys? Make sure that you are asking your questions, please. I want to make sure that every doubt that you have today, it gets answered, whether it's a technical doubt, whether it's a non-technical doubt. Now, for the people who do get, who go and attend this session, they would get AWS Cloud Practitioner for beginners, again absolutely for free. Which itself, we have a separate course here that we go for $297. We have we have this particular course on Docker and Kubernetes on AWS as well, and this particular course as well you get absolutely for free. This itself is a course that we sell on our platform for $497. So just you need to just go at k21academy.com/AWSSA02 and check it out, and you're going to benefit a lot from it. I had mentioned CV review before as well, and interview job question answers, 1 year on job support, everything. Again, fast action bonus. This is a particular bonus that you would only get if you buy the course while the entire webinar that the free class that I've mentioned with you guys is going on. So again, it's something that we don't really give away with the course before, but now we have started to give it as a bonus for the people who are very much serious about taking up this course. So just go at k21academy.com/AWSSA02 and register for this particular course. I'm gonna have a look at the people who are here and if they have any kind of doubts. And once you have registered for this free class, make sure you come in the chat and let me know as well. That's great, Idris. Dude, again, the session ends and somebody from my team would reach out to you and try to resolve whatever issues, doubts you're facing. And I look forward to having you onto the K21 Academy family. And looking forward to the day I'll probably have a screenshot of your chat coming back to us and telling us how you got a job as a AWS solutions architect. Finally, your dream job you've gotten, and finally you're through your hard work, dedication, and a little bit of help from K21 Academy, that you are able to achieve your true potential and the dream job that you were eyeing for. So guys, have all of the people who have joined with us today, have you guys actually registered for this particular free class? I want to know you guys. I want to know your answer. k21academy.com/AWSSA02. The link is in the chat window and it is working finally this time. My team usually don't make that many mistakes as I would do, but yeah, so you got the link now, and I want to make sure that all of you guys are have registered for this particular free class, because again, it's absolutely free. You get to learn something, so that's better. So tell me, Ahmed, Aman, Amit, Annabelle, Ayudali, Ferdinand, Idris, Kuntal, Madhukar, Matip, Noor, Olamide, Praveen, Kudus, Rebecca. Really sorry to everybody whose name I have pronounced wrong. I'm really sorry. I'm really not so good with names. So apologies from my end. But again, if you guys are have registered for this particular free class, I want you guys to come in the chat window and let me know that you have. And if you guys have any questions, just make sure that you are asking questions in the chat window so that I could help you guys out right now. We are almost at the end of the session, guys, so it's now a never chance of sorts. So if you guys have any questions, just make sure that you are asking those questions with me right now in the chat window, and I'll love to help you out. Okay, good, Madhukar. Madhukar, if you want to directly talk with our team as well, just make sure that you put down your phone number as well as with the country code, obviously. uh, and your email ID. Somebody from my team would definitely reach out to you. No worries on that. Like, we'd love to help you out and assist you on that. So make sure that you do let us know these two details, and don't worry, your contact info is completely secured. Only the currently as well, the chat is only visible to me and my team, and after that as well, somebody from my team would reach out to you, and nobody else would get your contact info as well. It would be, it would be kind of quick for us to get your details directly in the chat window. That's why we are asking over there. Otherwise, these details get shared with us a slightly longer, takes a little bit of longer time. And why would we want to delay the process of you starting learning and, to get to that dream job much more quicker? Where are you from, Madhukar? Where are you currently located in the world? I guess you joined in slightly late. I had asked you this question at the start of the session. Okay, you're from Ohio, US. We've got a few. I think the last session we did, a lot of people were here from California as well as Texas. So I believe we do have maybe one or two learners from Ohio, but I'm not so sure on that end. But yeah, no worries. Somebody from my team would reach out to you immediately after that. So I hope that will help you out on that. But again, guys, make sure that you are registered for this particular free class. It's a kind of thing that you cannot miss. Sorry, miss out on. And make sure that, guys, you subscribe to our YouTube channel. We are around, I think we crossed 37K today, but I'm not so sure about that. But make sure that you subscribe to our YouTube channel. We come up with a lot of free content, a lot of free videos as well. And even if certain things you're not able to, you have not registered for a free class, majority of the times we go live there as well, so you get the notification through that. And make sure you join our Telegram community as well. It's absolutely for free. We've got around 12,000 people, and the number is constantly growing. We share a lot of free webinars, workshop links, uh, hands-on labs, blogs, free videos from our YouTube, and again, lot of different things are regularly shared on our Telegram community as well. So again, it's absolutely for free. If you are able to get something for free that's eventually going to add up to the knowledge bank that you have, it's good, right? It's better for your career in that space as well. So guys, again, any questions that you guys have, I see still a lot of people are here. So if you guys have any questions, make sure that you ask them in chat window so that I can answer those questions for you. So Ahmad, Aman, Amit, Annabelle, Ayodali, Ferdinand, Kuntal, Madhukar, Matip, Noor, Olamide, Praveen, Kudas, Rebecca, any questions, guys, please do make sure that you ask them right now before the session is over. Otherwise, I won't be able to help you out afterwards. And make sure that you have registered for the free class as well. That's k21academy.com/AWS SA02. You're going to definitely benefit from this individual class as well. That's great, Ayodali. Thank you very much. I hope you guys enjoyed this session. I hope you guys liked it and you find it useful. I guess the extra edge in your yeah is the testament of how good you like the session. Thank you very much, guys. I see almost all of you guys have registered, so that's great to hear that. And I'll see you guys directly at the free class as well. And if you are registered, you'll get to know about the course as well. And if you do buy the course, make sure you say hi to me when you join the WhatsApp group. Thank you very much, guys, again. And I hope you guys learn from this session. Make sure that you subscribe to our YouTube channel and follow us on all our social media platforms so that you can get the notification for the different sales that are happening, free classes, and free webinars like these. Thank you very much, guys, again. Thank you very much for my team as well. Thank you, Raki. Thank you, Sumti, as well, for the assistance today. And I'll see you guys again. Thank you very much.